you have to go to college, you have to do this. No, you don't. You legitimately don't. Like, what sense does it make to go and run up $200,000 in student loans and you come out making $45,000?
Today's segment of Life is Business is brought to you by Austin Media Group, a full-service creative agency dedicated to helping businesses grow their online presence, and Complete Image Manufacturing, a full-service fashion and textile manufacturing company serving emerging brands and corporations.
Because most of everything that I've done so far has been with other people. Like, I might have 10%, or like with Trek in Chicago, I got 10% of that. But we got the $3.5 million grant, $2.5 million, or $2 million grant, $3 million grant in September, $2.5 million grant in December for 5.5 total. But I'm 10%, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the face. You know, I've just done that because when I first started out, like, I didn't have the capital to carry some of my stuff that I wanted to do. So I partnered with other people. And that's worked for me since, because when the pandemic came, people that was real heavy and just, like, maybe they had 3 bars. They was crushed, you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's where everything was. That's where all their capital was. That's where all their profit and revenue was generated from. And when they cut you down, like, first they cut you down where you didn't have nothing on. Then they cut you down where you could only have X capacity. Maybe you had 100 people capacity previously. Then all of a sudden now you got 50% capacity. That model don't even work. You know what I'm saying? Like, your restaurant was built to be 100% capacity, 100%. Even if you're not at 100%, you're looking at, to make the numbers work, it might be 70%. But once they said you could only have 50 people there, now you're going backwards. Then everybody was like, that play money came around where, oh, we're going to give you this if you're a business owner, this and that. That got so many people in trouble, because now people playing around with their numbers. They getting money from the government. Sooner or later, that money from the government got to be accounted for. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was.
And during that time, do you feel like you saw businesses innovate when they was like putting something like that to where, like, okay, you cut down your capacity? Did you even see other businesses that probably that you know of personally that you've heard of that still propelled because they found another way to do it? Or was they just pretty much pigeonholed and that was it?
I think what happened was you got some people that were smart enough to be able to use the PPP money and renovate and do some things to help them get through. Those people was people that had been in business like a long time. Then you had other people, I don't say no names, but like the city sons, I call them the city sons. Like, their daddy used to be the mayor, or this and that, and this and that, blah, blah, blah. They came out of it way ahead because they was able to eat more than other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, they always gonna have certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? Their restaurant is in this place, this and that, and they had a lot of white money behind them. You know what I'm saying? That really is they're the face, really. You know what I'm saying? I never want to be a face. You know? I want to do my way and build it long term, and I don't ever want to be under somebody else's thumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these dudes, that ain't them. You know what I'm saying? Some of these dudes with big names that's doing stuff, and right here, what do they call it now? It used to be Black Bottom and all that, but what do they call it?
You talking about quartet?
Dennis, right here, what Dennis was doing.
Maybe not.
Yeah, Dennis. Archer now. What's the name of that? Right there where Kenny used to have the fish market.
Oh, I do not know.
No? Over there by La Casa and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm like the last person probably.
Yeah. But anyway, I seen some people be innovative on what they did and kind of come out of it, but it was more than that. You lost black business. And if you look at some of these guys that, you know, you look at Petty Cash and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? They how long did they steal? A year and a half maybe or something?
Yeah.
And they up there on Illinois, and that's the stretch. You can't make it on Illinois, you can't make it. You know, because you got the black dollar going in there. But it's in my opinion, it's more so just that we don't understand the strength of the black dollar, and we don't understand the strength in coming together in groups. Like we don't have, like you look out here right now, you know what I'm saying? This would be a perfect example. Eastern Market, this is what it's like every weekend.
Almost every day.
Almost every day.
Almost every day.
The market and everything, and you go over there today, I guarantee if we went and we just took a small sample size and we said, let's go right here, let's count how many people it is, let's see how many blacks are in here, and let's see how many whites is in here. You're going to have a 90 to 10% ratio, probably, and an 80% residential that's African Americans. But if you go right over here, it's going to be 90-10 whites to blacks. And if you ask them where they from, 90% of them not from Detroit.
Yeah. And I can definitely say that that's more than likely true over there like that too.
And we're not capitalizing on that money because how many of our vendors is over there? How many of our businesses is over there right now? They're not. So we're not capitalizing on their money coming in, and we don't unify and make sure that we support our black business internally. So you cannot win like that.
Because I read that was a while ago when I heard that statistic about how fast the black dollar traveled out of the community.
Oh, man.
And then I think, was it, I forgot
Asians is takes 28 days.
Yeah, it's some races that take longer for their, I'm like, man, but when you look at that, it is crazy how our dollar goes like that quick like that. And I forgot the amount that it was, but it was pretty fast that it go out like that.
For me, what would be could we talk about it a lot? I know you done been in rooms and talk about it a lot, but what would be the things that we can do for the community to start getting to that point? Because you got to be a start point somewhere.
I think we need to have a plan where we address the federal money that is coming in, because there is federal money. And we say, okay, this federal money is coming in. How much of this money is really going to the black community? Right? Like, you got a ton of federal money coming in, and you got groups like the MEDC, Michigan Economic Development Council, and all of them. Then you got DEGC, which is Detroit Economic. So you got to start at the top. Like, you got to say, this is the dollar amount that's coming in federally. Where is that money going? How much is going to the west side of the state? How much is going here? How much is going here? How much is going here? How much is going to our region, southeast? How much of that southeast is coming to Detroit? How much of that that's coming to Detroit is broken down and it's being given to true entrepreneurs, and how many of those entrepreneurs is African Americans? And I think what you're gonna see is it's gonna be disproportionate to what the demographic is to the city. If the demographic is 85%, there's no reason federal dollars should only be 35 or 40% to African American business. That makes no sense.
Well, what if they having those conversations be, but the right people is not in the rooms for those conversations? I'm talking about black people. So say they having those conversations with black people that's supposed to be like ahead of our community, or like you say, the face of our community, and it's supposed to be like a trickle down effect. But then once they have it, they're like, all right, you represent this area, you represent this area. I know you do space in this area with these businesses. And then when they get it, it ain't trickling down.
Because this is the way that you do that is you got to have one person that says, this is what I'm going to do. My role is this. My role is to meet, have conversation and communication with these type of people. So I would say Gail Ford and Renee Fluker at Midnight Golf and all these different people that have faces that have organizations that's getting money, like Gail. You know what I'm saying? Like Gail's whole thing is financial literacy. Okay, I'm gonna get Gail. I'm gonna get Renee. I'm gonna get some of these business guys, and we're gonna create a real coalition that has a voice. I'm gonna get with some of these street organizations, some of the grassroots organizations in the city, guys that do these marches, guys that do this, who have now they've got 200 people that every time an incident happens, they bring in them 200 people to so-and-so's store, and they standing outside these gas stations, and they doing this and this, and you got to say, okay, this is what we're going to do first. We're going to push Mary Sheffield. We're going to push so-and-so. We're going to push so-and-so, and this is our agenda. Our agenda is where is these monies going? Why is this money not being here? Why is this money not being this and that? Like I was just at about a month, maybe about 2 months ago now. I was at this thing that DPS had for like minority. Well, it was for contract. Like it was for businesses to do business with DPS, right? So I'd already done the research on it. So once we got in there, first place they did it over at Randolph, right? So I already knew Randolph. They did it at Randolph because they wanted to show Randolph off, right? But the reality is, 7 years ago, Randolph was dilapidated. Gilbert put all that money into it to build it up because he felt like it was a need and it was something that you was gonna have was vocational skills. You need this, right? But I've seen it I've seen it on Facebook. I saw a friend of mine posted a thing like they don't tell white kids that you need to try to get a skilled trade. It's this and this and this and that and this and that. That's absolutely not the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that the thing read was they don't tell white kids to look at skilled trades, this and that. They ensure they go to college. That's a lie. You go down here to the electrical union. You go down here to skilled trades, all of these. It's all white boys on these jobs. Yeah. You go out to Troy, you go out to Plymouth. Their vocational programs is the highest level vocational programs. The technology, them kids coming out of there, they can go work on cars, they can go paint cars, they can do this with engines, all of these things. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like what are you talking about? That's one of the biggest fallacies in the world is that you have to go to college, you have to do this. No, you don't. You legitimately don't. Like what sense does it make to go and run up $200,000 in student loans and you come out making $45,000 a year?
Yeah, you're gonna be forever paying that.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
So why do you think, because I always say I feel like college is a hustle. Like, I mean, the fact of it being fed.
It has become that.
Unless you're going for something like a nurse, doctor, or certain things you have to, some things like those where you have to kind of go for that. Most of the time with them selling you to the idea of going to college, that's what I think. Because you, like I said, if you look at the math of it and you break it down mathematically, that don't make sense for somebody to go and accumulate that much debt.
It's a system. It's a system, and they're selling you a dream. So then you gotta look at it, and you can throw these numbers out time and time again. It's not gonna stop, especially our community, from going after it. So, for example, athletes, basketball players, football players. If you look at it, it starts from the ground roots. You have so many kids that want to have a job that's only gonna be for about 100 people.
Oh yeah, the percentage is so low.
So then you feed them that and be like, your entry point to get into this job is going to be college. Yeah. Because a lot of kids, and I'm one of them, I didn't have a plan or what I wanted to do for college. One is being fed by your family that don't know no better.
Yeah.
You be like, oh, you need to go to college. You need to go to college for what?
Yeah.
Like, what is the plan of me going to college? What is the major?
What's the end goal?
What's the end goal? So my whole thing, like, I did have some sense, like, if I'm going to go to college, at least let me go to college for something that I have somewhat a passion for, and it was basketball. But that's over 100,000 other kids that's thinking the same way, and that's where part of, like you said, the hustle come from, because they know all of y'all, about 2% of y'all are even going to get to the pros.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah.
And then when you get in there, then you trying to figure out, like, it's a life thing. Like, college is a life thing. So then from what your major to you even after school, it's a whole life thing. So you basically paying $40,000 or more for you to learn life, and it's other ways that you can be doing that productively.
But that's because we put such an emphasis on, oh, he went to this school, or he got his master's, he got this, he got that, this and that. You don't even hear that in the white community. They don't even talk about it.
And that's so much as a false perception, to your point, because when I worked at Chrysler, you will find out how many people that have a master's, a PhD, and they're working on the assembly line with you, because that degree means nothing when it comes to
The field that they in or whatever. Like,
And people will still like rag on that title. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people, they love that.
They be more pissed though.
I know people that have PhDs, doctorates in social work. Like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, you make 90 grand now. You racked up, amassed 350,000 in fucking student loans. Like, literally, like, I could probably call somebody right now, and she'd answer and be like, how much do you have in student loans? How many years did you go to school? It's crazy. Like, it doesn't add up. Like, it really doesn't. You know, like, and like I was saying, with the skilled trades and the vocational stuff, we over there, and people sitting in there, and we listening to the people from DPS, and they say it's $700 million on the table for all this infrastructure and new stuff for the schools. But then they say, so-and-so has the contract, so they're going to give you this, or that's who's going to be the general contractor, and they're going to bid out these different jobs. So I get it. Okay, cool. But there's certain, like, RFPs that go out, these proposals, that, like, you can't compete. Like the janitorial piece, right? Before, now they're doing it different now, but before, they gave out this huge contract to this company called GDI. GDI, and it was another company that had like 30% of the contract, but GDI was 70%. I think it was like $30 million a year or something crazy. What they did was they packaged the janitorial and the cleaning service with the supply. So, like, let's just say I'm a supplier of chemicals, because that's what I get, right? Like, I can't even get any of that money because you packaged it together. So GDI, which is this huge company, they get the contract, plus they're supplying the supplies, because they're so big, they got their own supplies, which if you go to like General Motors, you go to Stellantis, Ford, GDI isn't in there. They don't have contracts with them. I got contracts with them. I'm in 45 General Motors plants. But I can't compete in the school system that I grew up in, because you packaged the deal together. Now, if you take the supplies, GDI can't fuck with me no way, no how. I'm taking shit from Ecolab. At a much higher level. So I should easily be able to come in, but because they packaged it together with the cleaning piece, the janitorial piece, I can't compete. And you're not maximizing your dollars because you took GDI because it was simple for you, and they probably cashed somebody out for the contract, and you got it so, oh, it's easy. I get everything all done at once. How do you know you really maximizing your savings on the cleaning side?
Right.
And it was a perfect example because once we was there in the thing and they was talking, I said, well, is this going to be split up this time? I said, because it doesn't even allow me to compete. I said, because I don't want to be bothered with labor forces. I said, so I only just give you supplies. I said, but I should be able to compete and say, how much is GDI supplies? They shouldn't be able to roll the numbers all into one thing.
Yeah.
Because if it's some of this money is coming from federal, so the federal automatically tells you the wages for this have to be between here and here. And they do that to make things competitive. So now GDI says, okay, I got to do this, make $18 an hour to clean the floor. Okay, cool. The contract is going to be this big, so now I can compete. So I can get a guy that does it for $18 an hour because it says the person has to be paid between here and here. So now I can compete with you on there. Now, how much is it going to cost you for the solutions that you get? My solutions, our chemicals is better, more efficient. I can get them at a different cost. So now I'm better than GDI. So GDI, y'all can have that piece because they're going to control your revenue, your profitability, because they're going to say $18 an hour for labor.
Yeah.
Your money is over here now.
Yeah.
And see, so when I said that, everybody's like, oh, well, now they talk, and you hear the room talk because y'all not asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Once we got ready to leave, once it was over, Gilbert, that's like, they got the huge part of the construction car, all of that stuff. They come over to me like, man, is you ready to go? Can you do this? Can you do this? Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Because you see that I'm what I'm talking about. And you see that I'm looking at it from a cost-effective thing, and the school system wasn't looking at it like that.
Yeah. Hey, it was a contract, to your point, it was a contract that we was going after too. And they was like stuck on the brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's like, yeah, if it ain't this brand, we not doing it. Well, then you killing out everybody else to not only, like you said, compete for this, but also you don't even know how much money that you leaving on the table because you stuck. Like, we are a manufacturing company, so where we can get this product to you with, if it's not the better quality, it's going to be to that quality, and you saving money. So we had to go through this whole thing for them to, y'all numbers couldn't be like that. It can be, and it is, if we controlling everything in-house.
Yeah.
You talking about a brand that got to go to the manufacturer. How you think they getting their stuff made?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
They
you
going to the manufacturer.
and then if I'm not the company, so now I have to put more on there to even go to this company because they paying is a crazy amount. So then I'm gonna get booted out because I can't compete with this brand. So y'all not making it, y'all not having it where it's competitive and giving people a chance to get in these government contracts.
I learned that when I went to, when we was doing the stuff, when we was trying to figure out how to bring the textile industry to Detroit, and we was working real close with Carhartt, so I was like at their headquarters all the time, and I was blown away. I'm like, damn, they should, like, they for real, you know what I'm saying? They got quality product, they do so much research and development. I'm going through everything. But that showed me a lot. Like, I learned a lot from that. But even with that, like, we got 100 fashion brands here in Detroit. Whether it's Detroit versus everybody, to so-and-so, to so-and-so, so-and-so. And I talked to Sean. Sean was texting me. Man, I just broke my phone the other day. But Sean was texting me, like, on WhatsApp, like, 2 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't even a percentage, why wouldn't we have a black textile meeting or fashion meeting, or of all these different brands, whether it be 313, all these different dudes is getting all this shit from different places, and say, you know what, let's let's have you manufacture X percentage. You know what I'm saying? Because we not really manufacturers. We getting our stuff from over here, we getting our stuff from over here, we getting our stuff from over here. Why don't we at least do this and build a core and build a coalition and everybody sharing it, like somehow. You know what I'm saying? Because our brands is all over the place.
Yeah.
Now if we did that, obviously you're gonna be the one that you know benefits the most from it. But at least it's going to show black manufacturing. It's going to show the growth. It's going to give opportunity, and it's going to grow it. And you just say, hey, look, if I see this much growth, or if I see this, or if I see that.
And we actually about to take a break real quick.